it is time for the second Sports and GT race brought to you by Spirit Invest. As the cars work their way out on track, unfortunately we're not going to have Charles Visser in this one, but it seems like everybody else that is supposed to be there is going to take part in this second Sports and GT car race. So we'll have a look and see exactly who's going to be out there. Only 14 cars, probably end up with about 13 or maybe even less, because I know Marius Fourie didn't take part in race number 1. So we'll look and see. We may have a full field though. That is possible, that we will have a full field, but we'll look and see if everybody that's supposed to be out there is there. So just waiting for the rest of the team to make their way towards the commentary box. Jordan Hibben is trying to get up the stairs, and so is Francois Butler. So this is the second Sports and GT car race for the day. All right, Jordan, we're not going to have Charles Visser in this race, unfortunately. But everybody else that was in race number 1 will be in race number 2 as well. So away we go.
Down towards Block Coin they go now into the first corner. They'll rush on down, and because Charles Visser's not in this race, Connor Kilbride will lead it out. But I'm with the Sports and GT driver myself up in the commentary box. Peter van der Spey, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm very good indeed, man. What an exciting race and what an exciting day today. I mean, how is Charles Visser with his time of 11.2?
And unfortunately, to not have him out here in race 2, I'm sure we can see him go faster. He was pushing to go faster.
Yeah,
and
I mean, you know, I don't know why he's not in the race. I think it's something to do with noise. You know, which has always been a bit of a bugbear in the Sports and GT side. Yeah, you know, these cars do make a lot of noise, and we want to have some noise around. You know, I don't know why we can't have a little bit more noise.
I mean, you're at a racetrack, you expect some noise. I mean, the people next door should just you know, get used to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, Davy Hubert was also had a noise issue, but they did a quick exhaust pipe upgrade. So that's pretty good. Now, it's very interesting to see how his car is going. But look at Connor.
Yeah, so there it is, the first lap done. It's Connor Kilbride from Davy Hubert in first and second. Then a Yanni Hatzi in that Nissan S14 ahead of Valen Volskenk. And then Tristan de Nobrega, the one of 2 Racing Spirit entries. Then Martin Prince.
What has happened to Sandro Bacardi? Is he there?
Yes, he is. He's dropped down quite a few positions. Unfortunately, I see now he's only exiting turn number 1. He was fighting in the top 5 in the early stages of race number 1. So strange to see why he's dropped down so much in race number 2.
Yeah, I mean, that's very unusual for me. He must have had either a little offer. Where did he start on the grid? I think he started number 6 on the grid, I think. Then probably got bumped up because of Charles being knocked off. So he was probably 5 on the grid. He must have had something going around. I see he's catching up very quickly there now. There he goes.
Unless it was just something off the start and he got swallowed up a little bit, and now it's about finding his way back towards the front of the grid.
Yeah, something absolutely must have happened in there. But, I mean, Hatzi, look at that. Davy Hubert, he will always put up a race. I think his car will probably be a little bit. Whoa, is Davy Bear running second now? P2. And there he comes. Davy Bear, I mean, to actually be even going close to that Ligier is quite some achievement. What was their lap time there now? 15.2. And Connors.
So Connor's currently on the fastest lap of a 15.227 with Davy Jabir 16.5. So it's about just over a second the difference in fastest laps between the Ligier out front and the Lotus of Davy Jabir.
I mean, Connor is definitely going to bring that time down. I know that they're aiming for sub 11. Where were they on the last race? 13. 13s. He's chipping away at his time all the time. They're working on that car, and they're going quicker and quicker. You know, it's an interesting car. You know, being an aero car like the Juno. I mean, Sandra is really doing well with his Juno, and the Nissans are spread out all over the place at the moment.
And you yourself, you drive an open top car. You haven't driven in a little bit of time, but where's your car?
I haven't indeed. I mean, my Juno, it was basically ready, but you know, I've got a bit of a policy for myself, and that is that, you know, I want the car to be ready at least a week before racing. I need to get some seat time, and unfortunately, the car was only ready. Look at that. There's a big change in positions. That's something ready to get hold of. Yeah, I'm. Oh, what was that?
That will be Valen Volskink. Just outside of turn number 1, down the Joubert straight against the wall. There it is, into the tires, and a tire wall or part of the tire barriers rolled across the track.
Oh, it's such a bad place to come off.
But I think it's one of those. We'll have to wait until we see the replay, and once, of course, we know he's out of the car. But I'm pretty sure you've experienced, as well as many other drivers and riders, if you go outside and you understeer ever so slightly onto the rumble strips and onto the dirt, it can very easily throw you off to the left-hand side if you don't control it and carry on down the circuit.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's a really classic place to come off. And you just have to touch the grass, and if you're overcooking it slightly, that's the end of that. And that's not a good place to be in the wall. I don't see the yellow flags.
Yeah, I see one just on the front straight here into turn number 1. But I would think maybe there's a double yellow of some sort if it's right close against the circuit. So there's one yellow right there. But I see a yellow there. He might just be out of the car. I believe it's possible that, yes, he's up against the tire barrier. So he is safely out of the car, which is always good news. And these sports and GTs, especially the factory-built GT Cup race cars, they are known for their strength and rigidity, and of course keeping a driver safe, which is the main purpose of the car.
Absolutely. They're also known for, when you do come off, you are a passenger, and you just got to go where the car goes and hope for the best. But you're normally very safe. You can always get out of those cars. They're extremely safe. Very good track record, you know, from a safety point of view. And so where are we doing with Connor? His time is coming down. Is he chipping away? He's still got the fast 13.7. Very good. They're dying to get under the 13s. And Davy is doing exceptionally well there with his upgraded exhaust system. So he's a little bit down on power. And what has happened to Sandra? Sandra's clawing his way up. So he's come from the back there now, and he's up, and he's doing 18s. And I mean, Sandra was doing 15s in the last race. So there's definitely something there, something going on there.
And I'm very curious, after race number 1, Sandra had a bit of an issue into turn number 1. I think he slid onto the sand a little bit and collected himself. And I wonder if it wasn't something like that again early on in the race.
Yeah, he could have damaged some air or something, but that was a spectacular save. I mean, how do you know, I watched it there, and he literally broadsided the car. Davy Hubert was right behind him at the time. And he was slowly catching up, but that was the corner where he had to take him, where he eventually did take him. But I was talking to Davy, and Davy said when he lost the car, he absolutely thought that he would lose the car. And I watched it, and it was a save of note. I mean, how he saved that car, that's obviously testament to his experience. And then Davy eventually did catch him in the same corner. there's a very interesting overtake. And coming down the straight now,
Yeah, that's Conor Kilbride catching some of the back markers, the likes of Marius Fourie, and I believe that is Jan Greef. So there is the leader, Conor Kilbride. He's currently sitting on a 1:13.7, still his fastest lap of the day so far. There's Davy Joubert in second place. He's currently doing a 15.6, and that's 2 seconds off the fastest lap of the race. However, with traffic, it will, of course, slow you down and lessen your lap time. So with 4 laps to go, there's the third place man, Jannie Hatsi, and then fourth and fifth of Tristan de Nobrega in Class C, and then Martin Prince in Class B, separating themselves by about a car length as they exit Block Queen Corner. There's still that Porsche on the outside, but it's out of the way. And now these two will race down towards Castro Corner.
It's turning out to be quite an interesting race, and I'm glad that chap is out of his car, out of that GT3. It didn't look great at all. I mean, that looked like a serious off there. But here comes Sandro Baccardi into the pit lane. So there was definitely something wrong with his car. He's just driven into the pit lane here now. I don't know what's going on there now. I'm just having a look down there now, and there's guys all around. He's getting out of his car, so he's definitely out of the race.
Yeah, so that will be a withdrawal for Sandro Baccardi in race number 2. We obviously can't quite tell. He's not very chuffed about that, I'm sure. There's your leader once again on screen. He is just jumping up behind Clive Smith in that Porsche. Then there's Davy Joubert once again. 9.6 seconds is the current difference with 3 laps to go. There's Jan Greef, a couple of cars behind with Marius Fourie rather. They've been lapped by the top 2. Now I can hear coming past our commentary box is 3rd, 4th and 5th. But that will be Jannie Hatsi as far as I'm aware. No, sorry, that's Marius Fourie. Then it's Jannie Hatsi and Martin Prince. And then just behind Prince, it will be de Nobrega. Prince and de Nobrega were fighting it out, but Martin Prince just managed to get past Tristan de Nobrega in that Racing Spirit entry. And there you can see that will be, we saw 3rd, 4th, and now 5th as they run down to catch some back markers themselves.
And I must say, Martin Prince is doing very well today. I mean, he hasn't been around for a while now, and his car was off for a long time. He's had it beautifully rebuilt now, and I think he's having a fantastic race. To see him up there in the top 5, he's running 4th now, and first in class, or second in class right now. And just looking at the board over there now. He's having a great race. The Porsches it's really nice to see a bunch of Porsches out today, and some aero cars, the Ligier and the Juno. And I certainly hope to have my Juno back on the next race. I think it's going to be the 100-kilometer race, if I read the program correctly. And is that?
So that is a bit of a backmarker battle there between Jannie Hatsi, who passes Jan Greef in that 350Z. There's quite a few, as you said, there's a lot of Porsches that have been entering the last couple of races. Of course, we've got Charles Visser in the newest of the spec Porsches, that GT2, 992.1 RS, that GT3 Cup car that they race over in Europe and across the world. And that the same one that he raced across the world in Europe, in Italy, not that long ago. As well as a couple of our other drivers racing GT3 Cup. We've got Andrew Rackstraw racing in the UK, and we've got another one, but the name will come to me ever so soon. Keegan Masters. Keegan Masters is also racing a 992 GT3 Cup car over in Italy himself in the European Series. But now onto the last lap. We just wait for the leaders to make their way one more time around the island. There is your leader, Lights Ablaze. Conor Kilbride, I think he's going to be super stoked. He's won classes before, but he's never won overall and in the top class of A.
Yeah, he's doing really well in that car. They're such easy cars to drive, but actually, you got to get used to it. You got to get used to the aero, and it's really, they've started out in that car, and I think they've done exceptionally well in that car, and it's really quick. And we were just talking to him now in his pit box, and I need to get my Juno back on the track to give him some competition. And maybe put one of the faster guys. And Charles Visser has actually offered to drive my car, and to see what it can do and help me set it up. But Conor Kilbride's doing really well, I must say. I don't know what's happened to Martin Prince.
So yeah, that was just across the line for Connor Kilbride. He'll take victory overall in race number 2 for the Spirit Invest Sports and GTs. Then we wait for the second place man coming into frame. Now, there he goes. That's Davy Joubert with that beautifully prepped Wild Rose Gin Lotus. Then we wait for the 3rd, 4th and 5th place man that were not that far between each other, but I think the gap's opened up now between Yanni Hatzi, Tristan de Nobrega and Martin Prince. And Martin Prince on this last lap, I saw him slowing down astronomically, so there might just be a problem with that Porsche of his. But here he comes in the turbo Nissan S14 across the line. Yanni Hatzi takes 3rd overall, 2nd in class, which is a brilliant result for him, as well as Clive Smith in the Porsche. There's Tristan de Nobrega in the Spirit Racing BMW M3, and then Martin Prince, he's dropping down a position or 2, possibly as he comes out of Pertamina Fostron for the final time today. There he is. Jan Greef once again is a lap down, so he'll finish in 7th overall and 2nd in class, just behind Richard de Roos. And there we see Martin Prince, top 5 finish ahead of Richard de Roos, that just comes across the line now in another of the GT3 Porsches, an older series cup car. But not a bad turnout for the GT Sports and GT class, with all the prototypes and sports cars that race out here at Killarney. Also a little bit different, I'm sure you'd say, is an early end to the day for Sports and GT. It's usually one of the top figure classes that races a little bit late into the afternoon, the likes of the Clubmans and the Superbikes that also race later in the day. They get an early finish, which I also think is different for them, with different for you guys. And maybe it gives them a chance to relax and maybe have a nice chill Saturday afternoon and Sunday.
It's always nice if we start early and finish early. I mean, as you quite rightly said, we normally, up early in the morning and you get out here to the track, and then your last race is at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And that is really a long day. And I mean, fatigue is a big thing in motor racing. You've got to be fit. It's one of these sports that, people don't realize how fit you've got to be to do this sport. You've got to be training every day. You've got